Okay, section 1.6 is going to take all the linear stuff we've talked about and apply it to real life word problems. All right, televisions often have a 16:9 aspect ratio. This means that the length of the rectangular screen is 16/9 times its width. If the perimeter of the screen is 136 inches, find the length and width. So we start by having a screen. The width is some number, and the length is 16/9 times that width. That's what that aspect ratio means. Now, perimeter is when you add up all the sides. So it's like saying length plus width plus width. So 2 lengths would be 2 times 16/9W. And 2 widths would be 2W. And we know that adds up to 136. So now we can solve. Excuse me. 2 times 16 is 32. So I got rid of the parentheses. Now I'm going to multiply everything by 9 to get rid of, the fraction. So 9 times 32/9, the 9s are going to cancel. 9 times 2 is 18. And 9 times 136 is 1224. Combine like terms, we get 50W equals 1224. And then divide both sides by 50. And we get W equals 24.5 when we round. So that's our width. Now it also wants the length. So we plug that in. We do 24.5 times 16/9. So if I did that, 24.5 times 16 divided by 9 gives us 43.6 for our length. And you would just round either to, if it doesn't tell you, you pick. If it does tell you, you round to that place. All right, here is a solution equation. You will be given this formula on the test, so you don't have to remember it. You just have to know how to plug it in. So the formula is percent A times amount A. And then you're going to add that to percent B times amount B. And that's going to equal the percent of the solution times amount A plus amount B. Amount A plus amount B. So now let me tell you what that means. So pure alcohol, we're going to call that A, should be added to 40% alcohol, that's B, and then we're going to make a solution. So pure means 100%. So 100% as a decimal is 1, times how much pure alcohol, we don't know, so we're going to put an X. Then we do the 40% alcohol, so 0.40 is a decimal, times the amount of that, so that's 20 liters. And then we want our solution to be 50%. So that's 0.50. And then we add the amounts. So X plus 20. So we're just plugging in those values from the equation. And now we're going to solve them. So 1 times X is X. 0.40 times 20 is 8. Distribute here, we get 0.5X plus 10. We're going to bring the 8 to the right. Plus 2. We're going to bring the 0.5x to the left. So we get 0.5x equals 2. Divide both sides by 0.5 and we get x equals 4. So since we're talking about liters here, we would add 4 liters of pure alcohol to increase that percentage. Here's another one you might see. Peripheral Visions Inc. produces high-definition DVDs of live concerts. They place an ad in a trade newsletter. The cost of the ad's $100. Each DVD costs $20 to produce, and then they charge $24. So write a cost function. Well, the cost is what they pay per DVD to make it plus the ad that they only pay once. Revenue is the income, so that's what they charge. So our revenue is going to be $24 per DVD. When does revenue equal cost? So that literally means make the equations equal to each other and solve. When are these two equations equal? So we would subtract 20x from both sides, and we get 4x equals 100. Divide by 4, we get x equals 25. That means when they get 25 DVDs, they've broken even. Everything over that's a profit. Okay, graph in the calculator. So another way to find this is with our graphing. So we're going to put the cost in Y1. Okay, the cost in Y1, so 20x plus 100. The revenue in Y2. And then I'm going to hit graph. And we can't really see where that is, so I'm going to try setting a window. So X is our DVDs, so we know we can't sell 0. Let's say they sell 100. And this scale just tells us what we want it to count by, how often the tick marks are. So they can't make $0. And then let's say we know the ad's 100. Let's just say 1,000. You can pretty much put whatever you want in there. But now when I look at this, I can see the cross. I can see right here where those intersect. So we would do what we did in the other section and hit second trace 5. And then follow the directions on your calculator screen, whether it's left, right, or curve, curve. And our intersection tells us it's 25. And $600 is the cost where it would break even. And then we also have a table. So if you hit second graph on your calculator, second graph, so blue graph, then you get a table of values. If we scroll down here, Y1 is our cost, Y2 is our revenue. If we scroll down until we find the numbers matching, at 25, they both equal 600. So that's how you can do it algebraically with a graph and with a table. All right, direct variation. So if you see something that says direct variation, it means they go right with each other based on one number. There's no adding, there's no subtracting, it's just y equals kx. So you can plug in x and y values to solve for k or find missing things. So here, x and y vary directly. So we know we're using that equation, y equals k times x. Then they tell us, if x equals 15 and y equals 8, find k. So instead of x, I'm going to write 15. Instead of y, I'm going to write 8. And then I solve for k. So I'm going to divide both sides by 15. And we get 8/15 equals k. Then it says, find x when y equals 12. So now we use that same equation, but we know k is 8/15, and we're going to solve for x. So to undo the division of the fraction, we multiply both sides by 15. We get 180 equals 8x. Then divide both sides by 8, and we get x equals 22.5. So that's how you do direct variation problems. All right, another thing you're going to see in this chapter is solving for a variable. So if they give you an equation and they say solve for y, they're saying rewrite it so it says y equals. If it says solve for t, it's saying rewrite it so it says t equals. So for this one, we're solving for b1. That means we want to rearrange everything so that all that's left is b1 equals. So here's our b1. So we need to get the parentheses alone. So to undo this multiplication, we're going to divide. So if I divide by 1/2 h, I'm just going to do something over here. A divided by 1/2 h. 1/2 times h is h/2. When you divide a fraction, you flip it. So it's like saying a times 2 over h. So 2a over h is what we would end up getting. So that's one way to do it all at once. Another thing that you could do is you could say, hey, I'm going to multiply. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 and be left to get rid of the fraction, and then be left with the h, divide by h. All of them get you the same place. It's up to you how you choose to do them. Now, to get the b1 alone, we have to undo this addition. So we're going to subtract b2 from both sides. So we're left with 2a over h minus b2 equals b1. And we've solved because it says b1 equals. All right. So now let's do another one. Solve for L. So the first thing we need to do here is get the L term alone. So I'm going to move the 2w. P minus 2w equals 2L. Then divide everything by 2. So P minus 2w over 2 equals L. That's enough for your answer. You could divide everything and say 1/2 P minus w equals L. It's the same thing. They're both correct. That's up to you. All right, here's one more. Solve for F. So I'm going to multiply by 9 to get rid of that fraction. 9c equals 5 times f minus 32. I'm going to divide by 5 to get the parentheses alone. And then I'm going to add 32 to get the f alone. 32. So we have 9c over 5 plus 32 equals f. All right. The last one we're going to look at is a grain bin. So a grain bin in the shape of a cone, which they give us, has a height of 11 and a radius of 3.5. The grain in the bin is 7 feet high. Calculate the volume of the grain. So here we're given the volume formula. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use ratios to find the radius of the grain. So if we compare the heights, the whole cone is 11, the grain is 7. So now let's compare the radius. The whole cone is 3.5, the grain is x. We don't know that radius. To solve a proportion, you cross multiply. So 7 times 3.5 is 24.5, and that's going to equal 11 times x. Then we divide both sides by 11, and we get 2.23 as x. So that's what we're going to use as the radius of the grain. Now, we're going to plug that into the volume formula. So if I bring this down here, volume is 1/3 times pi times the radius squared. We just found the radius as 2.23 times the height, which was 7. We can type that right in the calculator. So 1/3 times pi, and pi is the second caret. Caret's that little button above the division. So you hit second caret. And then times 2.23 squared, you can use the x squared button, times 7, gives us 36.45 cubic feet of grain. So that is the end of chapter 1. Let me know if you have any questions.